This induction is on the timber mill. In this timber mill, we actually use just standard router cutters, which are like here, and the lid like so. So what we can do is just put the different router cutters into this mill and machine out different shapes like straight and round nose and all different sizes in between there. The main reason we actually use this machine instead of just using a handheld router is it makes it easy to clamp the job down and gives you full control over the cutter. The main hazard with this machine is a high-speed spinning chuck and bit. Righto, to put a cutter into the mill, we're going to just use a normal straight cutter like so. Okay, this is called a Jacob's chuck. So what you can do is unwind that, take your router cutter, so do it up, give it a twist side to side just in case there's any swarth in there. Okay, do it up by hand first, and then with the use of a chuck key, you can actually put a little bit more pressure on it. So you do one, rotate it, two. So the bit is now secured. You never leave the chuck key in the chuck for obvious reasons. If you turn that off on, it's going to fly out. So the chuck key is always either in your hand or on the bench near the machine. Okay. This control here does the depth, like so. So you can pull that and it does the depth there. Around the back here is a lock, so you can bring the depth down and lock it off, so that locks the head of the machine. There is a guard, which you set your machine up, then bring the guard around, so it's just so that you can't physically push yourself in there. It doesn't actually cut the machine out, it's just a physical barrier. The vise, which is used to clamp your job. On, which is the darker purple coloured button, and then red is to turn the machine off. So with a machine like this, you always, when you go to turn it on, you always make sure your head's pulled back, turn it on, do your job, and then same when you turn it off. For obvious reasons, you don't want your hair or anything to get entangled in the chuck. Okay. Operating the machine, once it's turned on, you set it up. This movement here lifts the bed up, so by winding it clockwise with your hands, using that open palm method, you can go up and down, so that winds it up. This one winds the bed that way. So you can manipulate your job to suit where on the bench you want, and then this hand wheel here is what you actually drive it through to do, say, a slot, like so. Just going through, when you actually use these wheels, you actually use your whole hand over the wheel, like so. You never actually grab it and do a rapid traverse because your cut will actually be stepped, so you want a nice smooth cut as you go. Placing your job into the vise. These pieces of timber here are called slides. So what it does is it lifts the job up level with the vise. So you stick those in first. This is my job here. In. Do the vise up by hand. Then what you do is just back it off, slide it back and forth, just in case there's any swarth, and then the swarth falls to the bottom. Do it up. Take this bar, which is to go on the end of the vise, and just do a little bit more pressure. Okay, so that goes over on the trolley as well. So, the next thing we do is to set the depth of the cut. We use these digital calipers. So, by winding them through to a certain measurement, like so, we're going to use the number of 13, like so. So that's going to be the depth of my cut. I can lock it off like that. So sit this down on the bench. Next thing we do is we bring the head of the mill down so that the cutter is just on the top of our job. Around the side here is a chrome locking nut, so you bring that down and lock it. So by holding that and locking that, the head of the mill's locked. Then there's two nuts just here, so what you've got to do is wind those down like so. Take your calipers, sit them in there, bring that locking nut down so it just touches the tip of the caliper there, take it out, and bring the second nut down. So with any two nuts, if you wind them together, it always locks, stays stationary. So lock that down, double check our measurement, so it goes in. So that machine is now set at 12.99 mils deep. Okay, double check they're locked. Now we can undo this lever here, and the head of the machine comes back up. Okay. The personal protective equipment you're going to use on the timber mill are glasses for flying debris and earmuffs for noise. Okay. Righto, as I mentioned before, when you turn the machine on, you always lean back and press the on button. Okay, I'm winding the wheel that way, so it's going to move it that way.